and welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. Chris is over there with Movies and Munchies. I'm over here with the Ruby Tuesday. If you are a returning subscriber, viewer, audio listener, thank you so much. It's great to have your ears and eyes with us once again. If you're watching this as your weekly Sunday listen or video, thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning, however you are spending it, whether it's eating an egg, if you're just waking up or going to sleep on your Sunday, if you're in Australia. We appreciate you guys. We have a nice community now building, and that's awesome. If you're new to it, you've just kind of somehow in the nether of the world, you found us. I hope you admire our beards, and if you're listening on audio, our beards are awesome because we have a Patreon called The Bearded Ones, where everything starts at £1, and there's over 40 videos on there now. And this Sunday, when you're listening to this, there was an exclusive new video dropped as you're listening to this, where we get drunk watching and commentating on Kung Fury. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's a real tongue-in-cheek, short half-an-hour film, nostalgic 80s ride. And so you can play the game with us or just watch us go downhill. And that's a lot of fun. But on the Patreon, there's a lot on there. On our audio extra segment that we do kind of follow up from this, you get the exclusive video segment in the audio as well, but also in the audio we do a review that we both either haven't seen the movie and we review it for the first time on the audio, or one that we haven't seen for a while. Then we talk about entertainment news and what we are looking forward to. So there's really some cool extra bits there wherever you listen to your podcast. But the way we start off every week is we do a movie quiz. I started it off and I did a really, really great job. And then Chris took it on, and it's been going downhill ever since. So I think in the comments, you should just, let Ruben have a chance now. Let us know if Ruben should continue or Chris. Do a poll, and we'll add it up for next week and see if it's Ruben's.
You make it sound like I have taken it over and I won't give it back.
That's exactly what he's done, guys. I can't believe it. It's like holding it captive. How mean is that?
I know. I won't let him do it. I keep telling him, no. And it's very specific that you talked about if you're eating an egg. What?
Well, then breakfast is like classic English breakfast is eggs and bacon, sausage and tomato and toast or hash browns. Yeah.
Why would you put a tomato in there? What?
There's some healthy stuff. You've got to have the healthy stuff. Some mushrooms.
Bacon is. Oh gosh, come on. Mushrooms grow under poo. They're slimy, they're disgusting, and half of them will kill you.
Dude, everything grows from poo. That's where we grow our trees, our potatoes. All food is grown from that.
Yeah. But specifically under poo. I mean, It just grows under the poo, and then you pick them, and then people eat them.
We do wash them first. Like your milk you drink. If we didn't wash that, you'd get poo and salmonella. or E. coli.
I don't drink milk though, so there's that.
Well, you need to sort out your health. You need to start eating poo and drinking poo stuff, Chris. Come on.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow.
Sorry, that devolved.
That's your fault.
Way faster than I thought it was going to. Yes, no, it is totally my fault. Yes. Okay. You can do next week's movie quote quiz, or
only if the audience wants me to.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think if you keep asking those doomsday questions, maybe that will.
I'll just keep going dark every week until
darker and darker.
Get Ruben off that question.
Oh well, last week Tara Briscoe and Nostromo both came in with the right answers on the same day, so congratulations to both of you. Nostromo said that they were too easy.
What?
So, which, yeah, come on. I go back and forth. If they're way too hard and I've never heard of them, or they're way too easy.
It's easy if you know them. Like if it's a film that you like, that you've watched multiple times, that it goes bing. But if you it's not a film that you've seen it once, you're like, that rings a bell, but I'm not sure what it is. Then that's going to be hard.
Yes. Well, the answers to last week's were Beetlejuice.
Yes,
Reality
I got that
Bites.
one.
Nice. Reality Bites and Heathers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I thought I knew it. That was the theme. So Winona Ryder was the theme?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Good job. There you go. Right
Awesome.
on. Well, we have another theme this week.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I got to move my microphone back because I'm going to talk loudly.
Okay.
This stuff is not for sale.
Okay.
If you ever leave me with a kid again, I'll make sure you never have one. You have no idea what those screaming booger eaters are like. They expect you to know stuff.
Booger eaters. Nice.
Yes, well, there you go. Okay. Oh, I'm not here with these fellas. I got a pig in competition over at the Livestock Pavilion, and I am going to win that blue ribbon.
Wow. Okay. I thought I knew the theme, and now I'm just thrown for a pig in a pigsty. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, well, so let us know, and we will give you the shout out next week. Ruben, though, come on. What's your question? What? You look like you're gearing up to ask something just terrible.
Such a dark question, guys. I'm so sorry.
No. Okay.
No. Who's the best Superman?
Who is the best Superman?
As an actor, yeah.
Well, it's been a while. I remember really liking Brandon Routh. Routh, is that his name?
I think, yeah.
Roth? Yeah.
Yeah, he was great in Superman Returns. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie. It was kind of a bummer that it was a one and done type of thing, that it just kind of fizzled there. I haven't seen all of the iterations. But I think Christopher Reeves would be mine. I think that's also be out of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, as much as I love Christopher Reeve, I didn't grow up with that. Like, that wasn't like, I knew of them. I came to those films later. The Superman I grew up watching was, well, there were two. There was one my mom and dad loved. That was The Adventures of Lois and Clark. And Dean Cain was Superman in that. And I really liked that. That was so wholesome and clean and fun. And then we had Smallville, which I guess you could argue that he's not really ever Superman in that until like the last episode. But I think he's still Kal-El. He's still him. He's just learning to be. But I'll probably say Henry. I think I've really liked how he's embodied Superman. I really, really was disappointed that we never got that third movie.
Yeah.
Like, that was the one that we were all waiting for. Whether that happens many years' time, it's possible, but I don't see it. Henry's going to be onto bigger and not necessarily better, but bigger things for sure.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comments what for you is your. There's more than that as well. Because Superman's I think he's just had his 85th anniversary of the Superman character. So there's a lot of content out there.
Did you ever used to see the old TV show?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the episodes, so I know of the actor and the proper, stance and leaps over a tall building in a single bound, and wears like the proper underpants on top of it. It just looks like underpants.
yes, totally. Yeah. I watched that a bunch as a kid too.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. But
all right. Well, yeah, do let us know in the comments below. Who is your favorite Superman? What's the one? I guess it is like who you grew up with, or probably stick in your mind as your favorite. Yeah. Cool. Should we jump into the best thing we watched then? So, Chris, what's first on your list?
Oh, hands down, easiest answer: Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I thought you were going to say that.
Oh my gosh, dude, I know you haven't seen this, and I'm going to keep it spoiler free because it just came out. And this is a movie. First off, okay, so you remember the first one, and the animation
didn't it
was
win the
game
Oscar?
changing.
It was that good. Yeah.
This improves upon it.
How is that possible?
Right? Yeah. There was something about it that it felt even better. It was crazy. The story is bigger. It's more complex. You get a lot of different family dynamics in it, which is really powerful. We have a villain who starts off kind of comedically, but then actually turns into kind of a proper villain.
Wow.
And but over the course, and they dip out for a while other stuff is going on. You have other conflicts within the story and complications. So you kind of go, well, wait a minute, where did this person go? Even though you know that they're in the background, kind of they're lurking. But I loved the story arc. I loved where it was going, that it was, I think it dipped a tiny bit in like the third act, maybe just slightly.
See,
but
I'm really worried about the story arc because it's the first part of 2. And I think a lot of people going into this some people may not go because they want to wait for the second. So yeah, talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, that is the one spot, because like it's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. Okay, I didn't feel the time at all. I loved it. I could have sat there again. Just keep going with the story. I would have been there, no problem. It though just ends, like it just stops. We're mid action. I mean, it is a like
Proper
a cliffhanger. Yeah.
Okay.
And which my son and I took him to the screening. We drove into San Francisco to see it, and we were talking about it, and it was like, oh my gosh, when is the next one coming out? Because surely they've done it already, right? Or they're near completion for it. Because
I would hope so.
We can't wait another 3 or 4 years.
I think it's next year.
It is next year. It's
yeah.
next March.
Okay.
At least right now, it's slated for next March.
So that's not too long. That's like about a year.
Less than a year. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's okay. But yeah, no, it like, which I've heard now that audiences have begun to see it, that's probably the biggest complaint, that a lot of people did not realize that this is a first part. Because do you remember when the first trailer came out and it said part 1?
Yeah.
They've dropped that. Nowhere on the marketing material does it say part 1, because the next movie isn't even called part 2. It's a different title.
Right.
And we're told what that title is, but it
I don't think they should have. I understand from a marketing perspective that does put a damper on things, which is probably why they dropped it. But at the same time, you don't want people to have a negative response to it.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Your mind's gonna just fall out of your head. When they go to like spider headquarters, that's what I'll call it, where you have all of these spider people. Good gravy. There are so many. And my biggest complaint, I think, with this is that we're moving through this area at times so quickly, because we're seeing at that point from Miles Morales' point of view. And so he's taking everything in as he's being led someplace. And so, so it's like, you walk through a busy airport or something like that, and you have to get to your terminal, all the things are just passing by, and you're like, whoa, that's kind of cool. But there's also like these little pop-up windows that give little descriptions, like little comic panels, which is outstanding. But I missed so many of them. I mean, I just did, because there's so much
multiple screenings.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally. I'm like looking forward to seeing it multiple times, and then buying it, and then pausing it and just going almost frame by frame, because there is so much depth, so much level to it. I mean, do you remember Coco and all of the million lights that they put in the background? That's kind of what this feels like. That you feel so much depth.
So what we get from the trailer when we see him kind of swinging through that dimension with all the Spider-Man there, is it much more than that?
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And there are the visual gags that you get. There's so many Easter eggs. Like I barely picked up on any of them, just because I'm not the comic geek for this, and I haven't played the games, so I don't know all of that. I'm just.
Did you spot at least? I've got him here at the back. The Spider-Man game, Spider-Man in the universe. Apparently, he is there.
He is there, yes, and there's dialogue.
Oh, amazing! Okay,
yeah,
that's
so
so good.
It's funny. Yes, there's a lot of points that you're going to really like. This, gosh, what do I mean, the art is fantastic. Like, I do love the story, and I love where it takes us, and the risks that are raised within this, because we learn certain things about the multiverse.
Yeah.
And that adds a ton of weight, but then also creates decisions that people have to make. And those decisions are not light or easy. So you feel like this, oh gosh, what do you, because you're rooting for one way, but then also like, I know the consequences if you do that, and which do we choose? So it is, dude, amazing. This better win the Oscar again for animation. The story's phenomenal. The direction is.
It's up against some other heavy hitters. I've heard a lot of good things from about Elemental. Apparently, there's people saying that it's really incredible, and it's Pixar.
I don't even want to see that movie. I don't even care about it. It looks exactly like so many other recent
Inside
Pixar
Out.
movies.
Yeah.
I just so you gotta go see this. It is.
Me and the boys are going. Should we stay because it finishes? Is there any end credits?
There is a mid credit, kind of.
Right. Okay.
But nothing after that.
Nothing that bears on the story.
Not really. No. I mean, it's more of that. There's just something, but it's not. It's
Okay.
but we did wait till the very end, and the credits stop, the Sony logo comes up again, and then the screen went black, and we were like,
oh.
Yeah, bummer.
So,
but
mid credits, there's something.
Yes, and I think it's pretty early on.
Right. Okay.
But yeah,
cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see that with my boys.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, keeping to the superhero genre. On Monday, this Monday, so you were listening to this earliest on Sunday, the Monday from that. In the UK at least, we get a 4K release of Shazam, Fear of the Gods.
Ooh.
I love the coloring of the poster, of the artwork of the sleeve. It's got that 100-year celebrating every story Warner Brothers thing, so that's quite unique to it on the 4K. And the box is actually black, which is quite nice. I like the black HD 4K thing.
Yes.
It's quite shiny.
Yes.
And then obviously you get they've got a little slip for
Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle there, which I'm very excited
Nice.
about. And you got your Blu-ray and your 4K discs inside that.
Nice.
I don't know why they keep doing this, but all the special features are on the Blu-ray, not the 4K. So you watch the 4K and then you got to swap over to the Blu-ray for the special features. Maybe because the 4K takes up so much space of the disc.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly why. But the special features, oh my gosh, if you were okay with the film and you were like, well, why do I need to own this? The special features have, of course, it's got the commentary with the director on the whole film, and that is worth watching. But it's got over 30 minutes of deleted scenes, and some of them are really worth watching. Some of them are those why wasn't that in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those, and there's mythology of Sisterhood of Villains, Shazam's scene destruction. There's so much that it goes into the special features, which is often why I want to get the physical releases, because I miss way back when we used to watch those, the making of on TV. They don't really do that anymore, but if you can get yourself the physical media, then you can get the special features. I did watch it again. I watched it with Kirsten, and she'd never seen it before. It was interesting to see which part she was interested in, because she's not really a superhero. She's, that's not her type of genre. But there are moments when she visibly gasped or made noises. There are 2 deaths in this film that took her by surprise, and she was like, well, that's dark. And then the second one, she was like, no. So you could see that, she was connected with it. For me, second time watching it, I noticed that the first time I watched it, I thought the story at the beginning I really liked, and when we got to the action, it was great, but I think I preferred the connectivity of the family. The second time watching, I was like, yeah, this is dragging, but get me to that action sequence. So when we get to the dragon, I love the creation. The creation of the dragon is amazing. The mythological creatures look fantastic in 4K, and of course the unicorns and the Skittles are probably my favorite bit in all of cinema history. This is so good.
Where we stop down for a commercial in the middle of a movie.
Man, I loved it. I think it works, man. I love the fact that this evil entity is somehow tamed by Skittles. It's brilliant.
And it's a great take on unicorns, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very different to what you normally have. The dragon fight, I thought, was excellent. It looked brilliant, and it's like an anime fight, really, at the end. I don't know what more you could want as a fantasy dude, with massive dragon, huge beam of magic blue lightning, and then a real geeky ending with a special person that arrives to kind of save the day. Yeah. And I love the fact that when Shazam sees the person that has saved the day, he takes a shot. Even though, and you wouldn't you? You'd be like, I might as well.
You're here.
Yeah. And all the dudes are like, they'll tap you in the back, like, well played. You went for it, dude. So, yeah, there's that.
Nice. That's fun. Yeah. I haven't rewatched it yet, but it was okay. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed the experience, and yeah. So, okay.
Do you mind if I grab a drink quick? My throat is so dry.
Go for it.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So, Chris, what's next on your list?
Well, this ended the full run of the series this week. Ted Lasso. Now, I know I talked about the penultimate episode last week.
You seem to really love this series. I mean, get over it already.
Dude, there were tears.
Were they actually?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This... such a good ending, and I loved that it didn't feel rushed. It's a proper long episode, and there's actually a football match that takes place also in it, so we get to see minutes and minutes of football playing.
For Americans, that's soccer.
Yeah, true. Yes, but
so it's actual play.
Characters.
That is weird, because normally it's just like tryouts and we see like a goal or something, and then it'll be the drama. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and this is what it's necessary because it wraps up or gives nods to certain characters. There are redemption arcs in this. It gives you, completion to other character story arcs. I mean, so in that game, a lot happens there. I mean, that's what's crazy. All throughout this episode, there is this tension. There's a sadness to it, because at the end of the episode before, Ted he's been sad. He wants to go home. He misses his son. And it ends with, boss, and it just goes to black, and you're like, whoa. And we know, at least we think we know what he's going to say. And now we get to see the ramifications of that and how everybody reacts. And it's incredibly touching. There's still a ton of humor spread throughout this. So I don't want you to think, when I say that there were tears, these were tears of happiness, It was just a connection. I mean, such an emotional journey within the show. We get characters who we haven't seen for quite a while that, while they're not integral, they're not having conversations, they're not doing big things, but we get to see them in the context of the story still. Like, so they haven't been forgotten. And that's what it just feels good to see that, because then you know, oh, yep, see that works. This works. The opening scene to the episode, my jaw dropped.
Really?
I was like, oh,
okay, that's interesting.
And then it continues from there, which was great. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned to me that, you know, you'd heard, like, you know, people not enjoying this season. And this finale for me, I mean, this season has just gotten better and better and better. It had felt at times like maybe an episode was wandering off someplace, like I didn't understand, you know, or it felt like they were introducing storylines just out of the blue. And for the final season, that doesn't make any sense, because you don't add to the story, you know. I mean, let's get ourselves towards finishing these up. But they do. They finish them, and they have completion arcs from way back in the first couple of episodes that we get to see. And that's all speaking to the character growth and the character progression, which is what we watched with Ted. You know, he comes in as this guy who knows nothing about the sport. Now he's ending the season knowing a little bit about this, but also has helped influence lives along the way and changed his own. Yeah. You know, he's dealt with the crippling anxiety that he has had, and, you know, and that's not totally gone necessarily, but it's so
he knows how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the tools, and you feel hopeful at the end. There's
That's
been
good.
Discussion on, will there be a spin-off?
Yeah,
you know,
they're
would there
talking
be
about
future
doing some
seasons?
spin-offs, aren't they?
Yeah, and it does. There is a way that they could do this and make the story kind of unique.
Okay.
That it wouldn't be, I mean, it would still be following the characters and everything, because there's something that's established at the very end that, you know, you could do this. Would it have the same magic, though? I don't know.
I just don't know that without Ted Lasso, that it's almost taking that culture and that person's ability to make you feel good about yourself and put him in a situation that's dark and change that. Unless you have that was like the magic. So unless you have that, unless you're taking those that he's influenced and change, and then they can then go into. But I also think, I don't know what you think about it, but I also think it's like partly his accent and the way he speaks. So there's like American culture that meets British culture, and often that works. That clash, it does add an extra level of stuff rather than it just being straight American, straight British. You have that connectivity that way, a mix that kind of melts rather than bashing heads. Well, at first it's probably bashing heads, but now it melts, and you have some magic.
Yeah. Well, in the thing that would worry me is that the character of Ted Lasso brings a pureness, you know, to the show, where you can then have all of these other characters who can be grumpy. And Ted got grumpy at times too, but more so. I mean, he was like that straight, just that positivity type of thing, where you had everybody else then around him who would be sarcastic, snarky, funny, you know, dramatic, whatever, and he could play off of that. But he brought a huge balance to it, and I think without him, you still have all of these other characters who are funny, who are sarcastic, you know, who are dramatic, all of that. But does it work in a larger context without that binding thing in the middle?
Guess we'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, we will.
But it finished well.
I loved it. I thought it finished very strong, and like the perfect way to end a season or season episode series you go out the way you want to, telling the story that you want to. And for me, I was completely satisfied. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's next for you?
So I watched a horror this week, which I was so disappointed with, or confused with, that I needed to watch something that I hadn't seen, something new and fresh, but restore my faith in the genre, basically.
Okay.
So last night, while I'm in bed, got my earphones in, it's like 12 o'clock, I start watching a film, which is probably a bad idea. The thing is, I thought, I'm just going to get tired and I'll sleep and I'll finish it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I was like hooked. I was like, from the beginning, I was like, dude. And then I was just like hooked, but also,
really?
It's black at night. Everybody's gone to bed. It's just me and my screen. You've seen this and you've been telling me to watch this for years. Well, for a while, since we've known each other. I finally got around to it. It's a British film that came out in 2017. It's called The Ritual. And dude, I am so impressed with this film. It immediately goes up to like my top 10 favorite, especially when it comes to, what do you call it? Folk horror.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that. But you go from intense opening, really dark opening that I wasn't expecting, to the repercussions of that being the story that makes them go for this hike, this walk, find themselves in some woods, and then and it has flavors of other films in there, like a bit of the Blair Witch with the markings on the trees, and then you're thinking about the old kind of Ent guards, all the Eldritch horrors. Creature feature, and then a bit of the Wicker Man. Definitely the Wicker Man is in there as well. And you put all that together and you just add a psychosis to it as well, and you're just on a ride. So that by the time I got to the end, I was just like, that was great. That's a really good film. I wasn't expecting it to be nearly as good as it was. Or for me, because it's scary, but it's a really enjoyable ride. Mm-hmm. And that's what I liked most about it. It wasn't like, this is terrifying. There were moments of just like, you think you've seen a creature that moves, and then it's kind of gone, and you're like, was there actually? Why is the music telling me something? And you kind of leaning forward but back at the same time, doing your own conscious zoom. And then the guy, he was like, what is that? And then you do see something move, and you're like, oh crap, what is that? Playing on the less is more. Yeah, I mean, did you like this as much as me? When's the last time you saw this?
The last time I saw it is when it came out.
Okay.
And I absolutely loved it. Okay. The imagery that is created is phenomenal. And we get to the end, and that is just a culmination of everything. Like, I'm like, yeah. I have been chomping at the bit to rewatch it because I just read the book.
Oh my gosh. And how is the book?
The book is it's a little different. So the impetus for why they go on the hike in the movie, that doesn't exist.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They're just on holiday.
Right.
Which doesn't really affect the story at all. I think for visual impact within the movie, you need kind of that because I
really like that because there's a weight to the friends almost blaming the one character. There's a weight to that I felt while watching it, going, oh, I see. So now he's got something to prove almost.
That you still get some of that within the original story. Okay. It's just different. So you still have a lot of the character dynamics and that conflict that's there. And the ending is also different to a degree.
What? Really? Okay.
But still similar also. So it's they've changed some things, but not in a way that is a detriment to either. And it makes me, after reading it, because I just finished it like a month ago, I want to rewatch it again because and that was also the thing, that it was very enjoyable for me to read the book because there had been that time separation from when I saw it.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I could kind of remember certain things, but I couldn't remember all of the details. And now, going into the movie, I'll be able to go, that was different, but I've enjoyed both immensely. I'm so glad you liked this. Was
so
it on
good.
Netflix for you?
No, it wasn't Shudder. Shudder UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because in the US, it was billed as a Netflix original.
Yeah, it's not. It's not here. Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Well, so they bought that, and I'm glad you got to see it, though. That is, dude.
Yeah, I loved it. The creature creation is incredible. The atmosphere building is so good. The acting is great. Like, you believe their fear. There is a unique technique used in the horror that I really liked. They're not sure what's real. And it plays and you're like, oh, so what's causing that? Who's causing that? And it uses that, like messing with their mind, but you're not sure what's happening in the real life while they're being messed with. I really like that. That really helped add to the atmosphere. I thought it was clever. It's great.
Yay.
So
happy. Cool.
So what's next on your list?
I watched a French series yesterday that came out on Netflix. The series, I guess, had come out in 2022 on French television. Netflix bought the rights to at least distribute it in the US. I don't know if it's out in the UK, if it's everywhere or not, but it's called Vortex.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, but it's not billed as a Netflix original. It's just on there. Yeah.
Okay. I recently watched a movie from 2018 that dealt with kind of time travel-ish, called Mirage. And
yes.
That was a Spanish movie.
A lot of people enjoyed that.
Dude, it was so good. Well, this kind of plays with that also, but this goes much more butterfly effect route.
Yeah.
It is a 6-episode series, each of them about an hour long. It takes place it starts out in 1998, and then we're in 2025.
Okay.
So the majority of what's going on is in 2025, but we get to see events in 1998.
Right.
And it's done brilliantly. The premise is this guy's wife dies. He's a cop.
Yeah.
And in 1998. In 2025, they now have VR technology that they utilize to investigate crimes.
Yeah, that's believable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, you recreate things. We have VR now and everything else. I mean, this is stepped up from what we have right now.
Yeah,
but
of course, yeah.
You go with it and it works. While he's rewatching the scene and investigating in this VR space, he sees his wife walk through.
That's weird.
Yes, and so this is where the vortex comes in. There's a time-space shift rift,
in
something
VR?
like that. Yeah, he can only see her in that VR space because he's on the beach. But they're both on the same date. But 27 years apart.
Weird.
And they're before she dies in her time in 1998.
Oh, wow.
So like 2 weeks before or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
They're going to try to prevent her death.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Yes. But
The butterfly effect.
there's been 27 years. Right. Okay. So in that time.
Sorry, let me change my battery.
A few moments later.
Sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. Okay.
So it's 27 years.
Later, yeah, there's a gap of 27 years. So in that time, the police guy, the husband, has their daughter from the marriage. She's now 27 years old because she was an infant when they died. He has remarried, and now he has a young son. So if he can save his wife, in the past,
then
all of that goes away.
Exists.
Yeah. And while at the very beginning of the show, we don't know much about the wife at all.
Right.
Over the course of the episodes, though, we get to know a ton about her and we get invested in her.
Oh, no.
And so now there's these massive moral dilemmas that are raised, and we get to see. I love that we get to see she does make some changes in the past and what it affects in his present.
Interesting.
And then you got to go, well, crap, can she fix that? How can she fix that? Because that time is now gone. You know what I mean? She's done something.
Because isn't the actual term is she's not fixing it, she's just creating a new timeline. Every time she changes something, that's a new timeline.
But no, they don't. There's one timeline.
Do that.
That's
okay,
all there
fine.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's linear, so you don't have to worry about the whole multiverse effect type of thing.
Yeah,
It's very linear in this. So you do something like Back to the Future.
Yeah, the ripple effect is you touch one thing and then that causes an earthquake.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and so, but when she, she'll interact with somebody and it makes a change in his present. Well, that moment has now gone for her because she's moving forward in the same amount of time that he is. You know what I mean? So when it's the next day for him, it's the next day for her, and she's getting closer to her death. And so you're like, oh, can you fix it? Oh my gosh. The drama is really high, but I was sucked in. I mean, it was just, I couldn't stop binging. I mean, it was, you like the characters. There's also a murder mystery that's going on within this. So not only are you trying to figure out, should he save her? What happened to her? Because maybe something happened to her. Maybe it wasn't an accident. We don't know. And it's very complex, but it is very easy to follow. It's not like you need spreadsheets like Dark for a little while or anything like that. You watch it play out, and because it's linear, it makes sense. But all of that time is this: what happens if she succeeds and doesn't die? What does that do? And how, and it's emotional and it's gripping.
So you watched this in one sitting?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. Because I had started a different show on Friday and Thursday night, well, Friday morning at midnight, and I just wasn't feeling it. And so when we got up on Friday, I decided, well, I'll do this. And
do this one instead. And then you were hooked.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wondered whether to even give this a go. So that's another one. So Mirage and Vortex. Okay, those are going on my list. Nice. Okay, so this next one, I haven't seen the whole series, so I'm just going to talk about the first episode. It actually releases on June the 9th, but the embargo is lifted. It's an Apple original series called The Crowded Room, starring Tom Holland. It's a 10-episode limited series. It's set in New York City, 1979. Dude, I think, just from the first episode, I think Tom Holland's going to win a bunch of awards. Like, acting ability. He's so different in this. Like, I don't see Spider-Man at all, which is great. That's what I was worried about, because he can come across really young, even in some of the other films he's done, like Uncharted. I was thinking about the fantasy movie he did based on the book. He came across again very young. The only other one I've seen him do that he's been quite different is with the Netflix Western.
The Devil.
Yeah, that one.
It was different, or whatever it is. Yeah.
But still Tom Hollandish. This one just feels like a completely different character that is embodied. His hairstyle helps with that. My son making a noise. Okay. His hairstyle helps with that. It's such a weird story. Like, me trying to explain what the hell is going on. I don't think you're meant to know anything what the hell is going on within the first episode. You start... I think he's gone to college. He's ended up with a bunch of people in like another dorm, not quite where he started out at, just like across the road. He meets Amanda Siegfried, which is another one of the actresses in this, and they are part of a group that's on the fringe. And without doing spoilers, he gets caught by the police for something and gets interviewed, and he needs to answer a bunch of questions.
What's the genre? How would you classify
it's
that?
a captivating thriller told through a series of interviews with curious interrogator Araya Goldwyn, who's Amanda Siegfried. Daniel's life story unfolds, revealing elements of the mysterious past that shaped him and the twists and turns that will lead him to a life-altering revelation.
Ooh.
So there even in episode 1, there's things that they've said to preserve the audience viewing experience. We kind of request that you do not reveal pivotal things. So that, like, even in the first episode, there are things in there that, like, I could say that'll help you understand what this is, but it would be a bit.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you've been very vague and very, like, surface level for that. Thank you. That's good. Yeah, because I don't have screeners for this. I've been looking forward to it, but I have purposely stayed away from trailers because I don't know what it is. Do you get the sense that this could be kind of like Blackbird?
Yes.
In the way that
100%.
Like the drama
in the drama of it, the way it's kind of unfolding and being put together. I don't think it's about a serial killer, but it could be. Like, even from the interviews and the stuff that they asked him, like, there's just so much going on that all the questions you were asking yourself in your head while you're watching this, and we were like, what the hell is it? It's riveting. And you're like, but who's the good guy? Like, is he the good guy?
Nice.
Are we rooting for him? It's very mysterious. So, but production quality is fantastic and the acting is really good. So just kind of like a flag up. Put this on your watch list.
Outstanding. That's so good. Okay. Yeah. Need to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any others?
Oh yeah. Are you done for the day?
I'm yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about is an incredible series.
Okay.
Probably the best one I've seen this year, to be honest. It's called Fake Profile. And it's basically...
Dude, I watched the whole thing. I saw the whole thing.
You didn't. Oh, no, you're lying. No, you watched it? You watched all 10
I watched
episodes?
the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, I started on Wednesday and I finished on Thursday, and I got to tell you, this could be done in about an episode and a half. There is the proper melodramatic soap opera reveal at the end. And you, like,
did you see my review for this one?
Oh yes, I did. I totally did. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is the softcore porn, and it's just it's so unnecessary.
We don't need it. Like yeah, like you said, the story is. Well, there really isn't a story except for the drama that they purposely put themselves into.
There's one character who's redeeming in this. There's one character, the cab driver, the driver that she hires when she gets to Colombia.
Oh yeah, okay.
Him. He's the only.
He's the only one.
He's the only one who's redeemable in this, and he's treated like crap. And so
that's not what I was talking
kidding,
about.
right?
I'm joking. Of course I'm joking. I want my life back, and I don't know why. You kind of get hooked into it.
Yes.
In the stupidest way. Like, this is so soap, but also these sex scenes are stupid. They're not even sexy. They're just like, what is this? And then there's acting that is so soapy that Neighbours or Days of Our Lives would be jealous of. Like, the most, I would say pretty, but like the most airbrushed, spray tanned looking people in the most CGI backgrounds. Perfect.
Yeah, everybody's perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you relate to any of that? You don't. That's the... Anyway, that is not what I was talking about. I just wanted to kind of jokingly bring that up because it's like the next. It's 365 in a series, isn't it?
Luckily I have not seen any of those. So
yeah, you should totally get on that. You're missing out.
Yeah, I'm not going to. No, I'm good. Thank you. Okay, what were you really going to talk about?
What I'm actually talking about is a series that is a Japanese original Netflix series called The Days. It's 8 episodes long. I'll get the negatives out the way. It could have been 6 easily. It probably could have been 5. They stretch out the story. I don't know why Netflix does this. This seems to happen a lot with their series. I think if they stuck to their formula, which they sometimes do, that 6 Seems to be a good standard for being able to, first couple of episodes, create the world, couple of middle story, building up back characters, and story last couple of two. That's a really good formula. This one, it stretches out a lot of the politics that happens, but, and a big caveat, but, the Fukushima storyline of days of the nuclear power plant that explodes and the reason why, they showcase that right at the beginning of episode 1. Like, holy crap. They bring it to you, and it's harrowing. Like, it's dark and depressing. It goes from, here's an earthquake that's going to shut down. We don't know what to do with this, but we have some folders and formulas routines that we've got to follow through in our safety procedures. I mean, if you work in a like a hospital area, like there's all these safety procedures that you've got to throw. Everybody's got to go there, got to do that. You can imagine how much more intense it is for a nuclear power plant, right? But then you have a tsunami that wipes pretty much everything out and puts you underwater. They have no procedures for this. And so what it is a story of the people that decide to stay to close off the nuclear power plant bits, to stop the rest of everything being wiped out by a nuclear explosion and then by all the radiation. And then it's the politics of people trying not to be put in blame for this big kerfuffle, not understanding that Mother Nature's not something you can plan for. If it happens, it happens, and then you have to deal with the consequence. So they're pointing at everybody, especially the team leaders are trying to deal with what's going on. That's the last thing they need to be dealing with. They need to be concentrating. The story for me shines when you see the team leader of the actual guys on site. It's the mixture of the claustrophobia and as I mentioned in my review, it's a very different claustrophobia. It's similar, I guess, to what you get in space. You're having your spacesuit, but you're aware of impending doom just outside. Like, one thing goes wrong, you're dead. Here, radiation is your impending doom. It's there, constant, always, and then you have your Geiger meters, like a personal Geiger meters on you in different colors, and when it makes that beeping sound and turns black, you're basically effed, right? And then you make the decision, well, I've got to stay anyway, because what I'm doing is going to save thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. So what's my life in the grand scheme of things? They showcase the heroics, and it's based all on true stories, so they've gathered as much as they can. And it also feels quite documentary-like in places, so it really feels like it's real. So you're getting that emotional, what I guess would have been similar to what they would have been feeling at the time, what was going on. I put a caveat at the beginning of my review saying if you know anybody or you yourself has experienced a catastrophe of something caused by earthquakes and stuff, this might be like too hard for you to watch because it's very real. And thankfully, I already had one person saying thanks in the comments below because they did. And they're like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Apart from it being really long in the tooth, the acting is fantastic. You feel for the characters that you follow in those hazmat suits, doing the things they need to do. When one thing goes wrong, they fix it. And once they fix it, 10 other things go wrong. It's just an escalation of... They putting patches on a broken machine already. That's you've taken a balloon and you've spiked holes in all of it, and that's one plaster. And because they've put pressure somewhere else, everything else is spiking. That's what this nuclear silo. So they fix one bit, and then 10 other things go wrong. They're always trying to cool it. I love the way they show how they thought outside of the box of how they go about doing that. And so it's kind of an adventure ride that's tense all the time, but it's an adventure that you love watching from the safety of your seat at home. It's not like an adventure you would actually ever want to experience. Like Lord of the Rings, sign me up. I'll go kill some orcs and go visit some ants. But radiation, I find actually very scary because it's a real world issue.
Yeah.
That most places, most continents have these things, and one of them is not looked after. If we get, because of climate change and everything, we get an earthquake, that's a very real issue. So have you managed to watch any of this yet, Chris?
I watched a little bit of the first episode, but I wasn't in an area like in a spot where I could focus, so I had to turn it off. But I was really impressed with just the procedural strictness and regiment that all of the workers within the reactor follow, following the earthquake. It was just cool to see how they function as a team, because you have somebody giving an order, that person doing it, repeating it before they do it,
duplicate and then you hear it back, and then they say it, and you're like, yeah, of course you'd have to have things like that in place.
Yeah, because it's all of this confirmation so that everybody is following exactly how it is, and it helps to prevent chaos, even though it's like, holy crap, we've got to rush. This is quick and everything, but we know that when you rush too much, more mistakes happen than anything, and so it's better to just go a little slower, do it correctly the first time. And so yeah, I'm really glad to hear that it's good.
It is good. It is long.
Did you?
I felt the time.
That's a bummer. But knowing that, then that prepares me.
Yeah,
I think, to set up that expectation. Did you see the HBO series?
I did. Chernobyl,
yeah. How do these compare?
That's a good point. Both equally tense in different ways. This leans more into the politics, I think.
Okay.
It's half and half, yeah. So
yeah,
Chernobyl was excellent. I mean, it was brilliant. But this is Fukushima, so they're different, similar stories, but obviously different. There was one bit that scared me that's relevant to today still, because they're still dealing with Fukushima's radiation. The intensity, they were talking about the bars of radiation that you get.
Oh, yeah.
And the level is so astronomically high that even when they send drones in, they immediately break. Like robots can't handle the radiation. It's ridiculous. So they have the equipment now to be able to move the some of the rocks and the cement that is so radiated. Like it's so high. Like my math in my brain, they couldn't equate what they were actually saying. And then they said, but that doesn't help because we don't know where to store it.
That was going to be my question. What do you do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, do you put it on a ship and send it out to the sun?
Well, that would be one thing we could do. I don't know how that would affect the sun.
I would think it would burn up before it got to the sun.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, one quick thing before we wrap up, as you don't have anything more to speak about. This is a selfish one for you. You need to watch this. And I'm surprised you haven't done a review for this yet, Chris. Disappointed, because I wanted to talk to you about it. You were talking about it last week, and I said I had screeners for it, but I missed them. They went out. They were like timed out, so I had to just watch them as they dropped on Amazon this week. There's an Australian comedy detective series called Deadloch. So I've seen the first 3 episodes, and my gosh, I've been laughing my head off while watching this, like absolutely belly laughing, in between sniggering of things that I was like, what is going on? So we have a detective, or we have a cop that used to be a detective that is no longer wanting to do detective work because of something that's happened in her past. Then a body drops in this small town of 2,000 people, and she gets allocated a proper detective, supposedly from another town, to come and help her deal with this. This other detective, who is female as well, looks like she belongs in Hawaii. She wears like shorts and like a Hawaiian t-shirt, and they clash like something crazy. They just have different ways of dealing with a body, or even doing detective work. And the police in the police force seem like some of the dumbest cops you're likely to ever come across. I don't know how they're police officers, but how they get things done. But in a small town, that's probably why everybody knows everything, and you somehow got this job through the mayor's friend, and it's that sort of town. It's the dialogue that makes this show work. It's so dry, so dark in places with its humor. The IMDb synopsis for this is wrong, because it says it's a feminist comedy, and I hate it when they write it like that, like it's trying to say something. Okay, there is a lesbian couple here, and there's a lesbian song, but it's more like you're making fun with the feminism rather than at. and I don't think it's like this will appeal to feminists. I just think it's has that writing about it. Obviously, there's going to be some that are offended because people get offended by everything, and for any reason. But for me, I thought this was so good. Like I was not expecting it to be as darkly funny as it was. So it's a mixture of that kind of New Zealand, Australian, British, South African dry humor, stuff that you shouldn't be laughing at, but you do end up laughing at.
I saw the first episode.
Oh, okay, fine. You didn't like
this
it?
was good. This was going to be on the worst thing I watched this week.
No, Chris, what are you doing to me?
Dude, it was painful for me to get through that first episode. My wife and I both were like, is this still going to, what? Is this still going on? Is this, we actually were like, is this the first episode still?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And like,
it's still
can we watch
going
something
on
else
and on.
after this?
So you didn't like it at all?
I did not laugh.
No wonder you were sitting there with a straight face. What is Ruben talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, every bit of this was so forced to me. Like, they were just trying to be funny, and every bit of it, I was like, ooh, stop.
That's so weird. I thought you would have loved this humor.
And I almost watched this on Thursday night.
Right.
But I was like, there's only 3 episodes right now and it's weekly. So I would rather watch a series that's all out, because then I could, at least give a full review on that and stuff. And so I didn't, but yeah, we watched episode 1 last night, and I had to stay up an extra hour to watch something else because I needed to cleanse my palate from this. It was,
oh my gosh. So you really
and I was
didn't
looking
enjoy
forward
this.
to this too. That was the thing. I know.
That's why I expected to see a review to drop from you, and I just like, that's so weird. All right, then, cool.
Yeah, no,
you guys didn't like this at all.
I cannot continue this at all. I mean, I thought it should have worked too. I mean, because you have the straight-laced detective who is surrounded by morons, or former detective, and then you have this reject, really, who does her own thing to the beat of her own
love
drum.
To hate.
And yeah, and but just no. Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you have found something that
I'm sad
is fun for you.
I thought you would have liked that.
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to like it too, and I wanted to gouge my eyes out.
Well, in that case, you should definitely watch what we were talking about earlier. Because you watched the whole thing. Never mind.
Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing.
The fake profile.
That was bad, but in a completely different way.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, see, we can still disagree and be best of friends, so it's all good. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Cool. Well, hey, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we have Patreon opportunity at patreon.com/thebeardedones. For just £1, you can get access to over 40 videos. The newest one being our drunk watching of Kung Fury. And we were entertained. Hopefully you will be entertained as well. But yeah, there's different tiers where you can request things. You can even be on a video with us. So however that works, just check it out. Patreon.com/thebeardedones. The funds from that go to help offset the cost of the production for this. We also invite you to like, share, subscribe, please, if you have not already. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday. Me, Chris, Movies and Munchies. And we have more of this show in the podcast. More? What? More? Please, sir, may I have some more? Well, yes, you can. We have more extended audio where we are going to talk about a movie neither of us had seen. And I'm going to tease it right now. It was Raw. Can't wait for that discussion. We also touch upon some of the worst things, or the things that just did not make it on our list this week, as well as hitting on some entertainment news and some of the upcoming shows, movies, series, whatever. So with that, hey, we thank you, and we will see you next week. All right, take care.